Hello guys, how are we doing? Lovely night tonight. As per usual. Hello Archa. Oh gosh. Yeah, the suffering doc aka 22 seconds earlier. Oh, my heart. How we all doing tonight? I'm doing quite lovely. I didn't get that much done today, but I still had fun. That's what matters. I finished a zine piece that I was supposed to finish, so that's nice. A zine that'll be coming out, what, next month? I'm doing great. I'm currently drawing a Blurbo number 3, Dirk. Hell yes. Hi, Sino. Celeste, Ellipti. Who else here? Skitty. Lunar, Duality, everybody here. I've just been having a fucking vibe of a night. I was playing some Minecraft before this, just hanging out with a friend. Also, I was thinking about it, and like, you know what your art tastes like to me? Art tastes like. That's an interesting descriptor. I wonder now. It tastes like sharp cheddar cheese. I can't explain it. Huh. Yeah, I feel it. Hell yeah. I'll take that. I'm doing good. Another season of my show's coming out in a week. I'm nervous, but I'm very excited. Hell yes. Hell yes. Glad to be able to take it on time today. I'm glad you are able to as well, Celeste. Today is going to be a lovely, lovely chapter. It is a shorter chapter today. So maybe an hour. Maybe we could knock it out in an hour. Well, I guess we'll see. Oh, I need to do the recap. Shit. Okay. Summary. I usually have the summary already up and ready. I forgot about that. Let me move this. Looks like we're a count of 13k. Ah, that's short. Yeah, that's, you know what? That's there. I guess in comparison to some of our other stuff. When I was reading Fall of Rome, I started realizing how short the chapters seem, because Yours for My Plant chapters are so fucking long compared to that. True! Has anybody else started reading Fall of Rome, now that we talked about it yesterday? You're almost finished, Skitty? That was fast. I guess it's only 140k words. It's so fucking good. Oh, I keep thinking about it. It's so good. Oh my god. Oh my god. Don't get me started thinking about it again. It's not unda. I would disagree. I think it's really fucking sick. I have like very specific ways that I want my characters written, and oh, it's not. Oh, lengthwise. I get what you mean. Yeah. Writing wise, I think it's like so. It's so good. I still want to read Fall of Rome. You absolutely should. Only 140k words. Our perception of length fix are so screwed. Yeah. The thing is that when you're used to like, you know, million-word fan fictions, it's like only 140k. Only 140k, like what? Really? That's so tiny. The only other long fic that is Homestuck that combats with unda's word count, that I still haven't read but I plan to, is Like 100 Star. That's the only other one that I've seen that has like generally like a big following, or like is like well known in the fandom, that competes and outdoes unda's word count fic, or yeah, word count, because 100 Star is 1.5 mil words. This is like 100 Star. God damn. And completed. It's complete along with this is an older fic. But it's like a superhero AU-ish. I'm not a huge fan of it, mostly just because I'm not, and to be fair, I haven't gone that far. But Grimdark is such a thing that needs to be handled in a very specific way to me. Because if Grimdark is like kind of edgy evil for the sake of being edgy and evil, I'm not a huge fan of it. And when they flirted with Grimdark a little bit, it kind of felt like that, and I was like, man, I don't really feel it. You know a fic that did Grimdark amazingly? This was a shorter fic. Hold on, I'm looking at my little fic list. My favorite fic that had great Grimdark interpretation. Grimdark is a concept in a Homestuck. Scarlet and Black by Bible Black. This is an older fic. This fic is so good. This is a Rose Solux fic, and it's fucking awesome. It's the only fic that I've seen that's really handled Grimdark to like my absolute favorite. It's so good. I love this fic, and it's short too. It's like a little tiny fic. But this is a really good one. That one was like too prosy. I didn't think so. I've read fics that, well, yeah, it's all opinion. I've read fics that are too prosy. There was one, where is it? There's a fic called Relocated or Reallocated that focuses on Hal Strider. And that one was too prosy for me. Reallocated was a bit too much for me. I tried reading it. And I was like, I can't do this. But I really, really like Scarlet and Black Bible. Or in Bible Black. But I have a couple others that I'm currently going through The Calm is Terrifying When All You've Ever Known Is the Storm, or When the Storm Is All You've Ever Known by Happy Cat. And that one's pretty good so far. A little bit, they use curse words a little bit too frequently when writing from Dave's POV. But it's not that bad. I think that I loved Fall of Rome so much. There's a couple others that I've been reading. I read, where is it? There was a fic called Don't Forget the Sun. And it's a fic about Karkat. It's a sad stuck fic that ends up with Karkat stranded on Earth. And like his friends help him escape Alternia, and he gets stranded on Earth, and Dave ends up finding him, and like he can't speak English. Like it's like very, you know, he's a complete alien. You know, he's a kid. Obviously Dave's a kid too. And it's great. It's pretty good. But it's 200k words, right? 200k words, discontinued. And I read it, and I got to the end. I binged it in like 3 days, and I was so sad. I was like, why did I get invested in this? I knew going in, I was like, okay, you know what? I know this is discontinued. I'm not going to get attached. I'm going to just read it. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to know what I'm getting into, and I'm going to be sad by the end because it's not done. And I still did it anyways, and I was still sad. I was still disappointed. I was like, fuck. God damn it. So it's always funny doing fics like that, because you're like, it's like, I should know better, you should know better. But I write this on the server. Toss it over, because I have my little to read. Oh, I have that on my list. I have that on my list of I have do you guys want to see? Okay, I can't show you the completed one, but like I have like a fic log that this is like my to read fics, and I have it all, and then like my in progress stuff, and then like drop. I'm not gonna show the finished one because I have I have some explicit fics on there, and I don't want to share those. But I have a bunch of stuff. I keep everything logged. Yeah, the worst goddamn movies ever fucking made. That's the one. By Writerbot. Yeah, I'm gonna probably take a look at that after I finish reading, The Calm is Terrifying When the Storm Is All You've Known. Yeah, arc fics are great. I've read pretty much every long arc fic. I've read, I've read pretty much all of arc's fics. I need to reread So We Don't Kill the Ones We Love. Anyways, okay, we are 15 minutes in, and we haven't started the chapter. That's okay. It's only 9:06, so we're fine. We're still on schedule. So We Don't Kill the Ones We Love is great. I love WG. Oh my gosh, which one is that? That one is. Which one's that one? WGMEFM. The one I just read. Oh, I gotcha. I understand. I was thinking about arc fics for a second. I've collected fic titles and I will search them out later. Hell yeah. Okay, bye, Arch. Have a fun time. Okay, let's do a summary really quick for chapter 18, which again I wrote right before the the stream started. Okay, so really quick. Hi, Crenshaw. Really quick. So last chapter, we'll just do the end a little bit. Essentially, Rose and Karkat have a dream together about a green moon, and they're like, "What the fuck is up with that?" And Solix is like, "Hey, stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about it. Don't go back to sleep. Don't." You know what? Stop talking about it. Stop everything. And Rose is like, give me a good reason. And Solix is like, no, just listen to me because you're in danger. And Rose is like, fuck you. And Rose is like, and Solix has to teleport to go talk to some people. And Rose tries to go back to sleep and realizes, oh, Solix cursed us, so we can't go to sleep, because she wakes up screaming at sounds that nobody else can hear. Rose storms off because Dave kind of tries to defend what Solix is doing. And she goes to talk to Abraxas. Karkat follows after her. Rose asks Abraxas about the green moon, and the only account is about like some about the trip that the US tried to take to the moon, and they realize that moon's haunted, essentially. Moon's haunted. That's actually a great way to put it. Moon green, moon big, moon's haunted. Karkat kind of wants Rose to like let it go, and Rose is very determinedly not letting it go. Karkat goes back to Dave, who's kind of surprised that Karkat isn't like crazy upset about this. And Karkat like admits that he isn't like super thrilled, but he saw how scared Solix was, and so he admits this is probably bigger than him. Oops, I didn't want to do that. You know, Dave kind of asks, like, you know, how Karkat's feeling now that he's had time to kind of process being an angel. And the Karkat's still unsure about it. And then the two of them watch a very blasphemous movie together and kind of chill for the rest of the night. And that's pretty much it. That is the end of that chapter. So now we are going to dip into... just make sure my music is working. Okay, now we're gonna get into chapter 19, Flirting with Disaster. Oh boy. Okay. Let me take a little sip of water, and we will get started. Alright. Turn that down a little bit. Okay. Here we go. Also, hi, Willow. Discovering that you're an angel is all well and good, but eventually you end up remembering that you do have other demands on you. In your case, the assignment of your cursed book from the library. Besides, it's not as if you can sleep, is it? Thanks a lot, Solux. All that is to say that by the time the sun rises, the storm has more or less passed, and now you're just camped out on the beach under a much-repaired beach umbrella. It was only drizzling when you left, and after what happened to Jade's table, you didn't want to risk magically folding up anything else in her home and vanishing it to some other dimension. You already owe her for breaking and entering, and then the breaking after that. The thing is that the more you read the book, the more it's the same. Some sand and a few palm leaves fold up and out of this plane of reality, but that's no more enlightening than the first time you read the book. This book was supposed to be Miss Payne's way of testing your readiness to deal with dangerous books. It can't just be as simple as asking you to read it. So maybe there's another way looking at this. You flop over onto your front and let your wings spread out on the sand. Now that the sun is over the horizon, it's warming up. The early sunlight actually feels really nice on your wings. Focus, Carcat. If the test isn't to read the book, then maybe it's to not allow the book to change the world around you. That's why it's cursed, after all. Perhaps if you read it and try to resist what the book wants to do, then you can crack it. Carefully, you open the book back up and start to read its theories, but instead of paying attention to just the words of the book, you focus on yourself. For a while, you think that you're barking up the wrong tree, but as you're considering giving up, you feel a subtle pull go through your mind, a papery sensation as the book tries to reach through you to the nearest tree. You jump and mentally point at it, like catching a cat leaping up onto the kitchen counter when it's not allowed to. You've caught it. And just like that, you can identify the book's influence. Just like Miss Paint Terezi said, it's not even malicious, really. It's just trying to demonstrate what it's talking about. Maybe someone who owned this book in the past did some accidental magic, just hoping for a demonstration, and ended up with this. Holding the demonstration in your mind, you look at the nearby tree and try to direct the book to do its thing. Before your eyes, the tree warps and bends in ways that just isn't possible, and then it vanishes. The book's curse skitters back into the book, but you feel as if you understand it now. Casting your eyes on a nearby rock, you try to channel the same magic through you, but this time, without the book. To your delight, the rock folds itself away just as easily as the tree did, but the question is, can you do the same in reverse? You eye your right wing, splayed over the warming sand. Curiously, you focus on it. You try hard to see how all the ways it exists shouldn't be possible. Wings that size on a body like yours are absurd. How do you even attach to the rest of the bone in your back? They shouldn't exist here, and yet they do. As you channel that same feeling the book gave you when you looked at the warped trees, rocks, and that one table, you find your wings jerk. It snaps close to your back with its opposite, and then, all at once, you feel lighter. Scrambling upright, you twist your arm behind you and feel your entirely normal back, completely absent of extra feathered wings. Thankfully, you are unobserved at the moment, so no one else gets to see your little victory dance right there on the beach. You have a vague paranoia that Solux will suddenly appear to make fun of you, as he so often does, but it seems that even his habit of teasing you doesn't grant him literal omniscience, needed to pop up every time you do something dumb. Thank God. Actually, no. Fuck God. Thank goodness? Yeah, you'll go with that. You hurry back to Jade's house, eager to show your friends how normal you look, and luckily for you, they're in the kitchen. Unluckily for you, Solux is also there, and you seem to have walked right in as Rose was trying to rip him a new one. Said I'm sorry, Solux is saying as you hurry into the room. Everyone looks around at you. Hey, you don't have wings anymore. You managed to figure out how to put them away then, Dave says with a desperate kind of cheer born of the desire to have everyone else stop arguing now, please. Yeah, I worked it out, you agree. Rose is still glaring at Solux, who shifts uncomfortably, but he doesn't seem to be willing to take his eyes off her either and drop his guard. You wonder if each set can look in different directions at the same time. You've no idea, but perhaps you could ask him sometimes. I will forgive you under one condition, Rose says haughtily. Solux regards her with all the suspicion you think that the statement warrants, which is to say, a lot. And what would that be? He asks her slowly. You agree to answer one question for me, to answer it right now, truthfully, audibly, and at a clear pitch and language I understand, to the best of your knowledge, as long as it does not contravene with your other obligations, Rose says, clearly and with obvious forethought. Solux jerks back in alarm and stares, clearly shocked at Rose's offer. He looks over at you and then back to Rose. Why wouldn't you try to use one of his questions? Unless he said no, Solux says slowly. You can see him coming to the same conclusion that you came to, that the question you think Rose intends to ask isn't going to be helpful. Alright, but you have to let it go afterwards. You really didn't leave me any choice. Cursing you was my last resort. I didn't want to, Solux says. It's not really an apology. Solux holds his hand out and Rose takes it, shakes it once. You can see the glow of demonic writing solidifying their deal on their skin for just a moment. What do you know about the moon landing? I want to know everything you know, Rose demands. The what? Solux says in surprise. Answer me, Rose demands. Solux cries out in pain, grabbing his middle. You can't help but notice that his hand is touching the place where his glowing rib lives. Rose, that hurts, Solux gasps. Rose, Dave shouts. Then answer the question, she snaps at him. I don't know. It was in the 60s, I think. It failed. 3 of them went up, 1 came back. Humans can't take it up there or something. I don't know. I wasn't alive back then. I can't remember their names. It was something stupid like Buzz or something. That's all I know. Solix says desperately. The deal ends. Solix told her all he knew, and it's less than you knew before you read Jake's journal entry. You suppose human history and space exploration isn't something he'd been very interested in learning about. It's not like he's been to school before this. That's it? Rose asks, clearly thrown. That really hurt. You didn't have to demand it like that. I don't know why you'd ask me about the moon landing. Solix hisses at her, his hand still on his side. So Solix's panic about your shared dream wasn't anything to do with the moon landing, a subject he barely knows anything about. Rose just hurt him and wasted a question all at once. It still doesn't feel like a red herring, but you don't know what to make of it either. Are you okay? Dave asks him softly, touching Solix's side tenderly. I'm fine, Solix mutters, still bitter. Rose seems thrown by how her question got her nowhere at all. You warned her it wouldn't, although for entirely different reasons. I guess you're both even now, then, Jade says from the kitchen island. That was the deal, and she's reminding them of it. They both have to be fine with each other now. Dave turns his attention to you, and you're abruptly self-aware of how you still don't have a shirt on. Self-consciousness bubbles up inside of you, but Dave doesn't seem to notice. Instead, he walks around you with his fingertips, just gracing your shoulder blades. His gaze shifts from your back to your head, presumably checking for the halo that must have gone away without you thinking about it. Figured it out, then, Solix notes as he looks at you. Yeah, I guess. Are you okay? You ask him. I've had worse. Solix shrugs. That's not a yes. Have you worked out how to get them back? Dave asks. I can't say I've tried, you admit. You probably should, so you don't accidentally do it in class, Jade points out. It's a good argument, actually. The last thing you want to do is expose what you are to everyone else. Rose and Solix are still eyeing each other like two cats who have recently had a fight and might start up again at any moment. Jade and Dave have a point. You should get to know how your new body parts work, how to summon them, and how to put them away. More than that, you think they're probably hoping that you trying to do that will provide enough of a distraction to diffuse the tension between Solix and Rose. So, what else can you do? You try and focus on unfolding, picturing your being like those folded-up paper fortune tellers that kids make, where it opens and then flaps of it open out still further. The very same thing happens to you. The space you occupy becomes larger and larger as wings and feathers bloom out into a space around you. Your vision opens up and you are whole, uncramped and uninhibited. As you open your eyes, you realize your vision around you is infinite in every direction, or near enough. Everyone but Solix looks alarmed to see you. You're far too much. Too many angles, too much impossible motion that this plane's physics can't deal with. At once, you realize that you've gone too far, tripped into what must be your true form. Sure enough, you have no flesh and blood body now, just an infinite ever-fractal tangle of rings and binds and eyes that see too much. You can't stay this way. You remember what Solix warned you about, and the physics of this place is not happy with you either. You crash back into yourself like a breaking wave and tumble to the ground in a heap, smacking yourself with in the face with a wing. You've gone back to the most angelic form this place can allow long-term. Human, but for wings and a halo. Holy shit, Dave whispers and crouches down to you. You flail upright, looking around at the others and half expecting to see their sanity slipping away or them clawing their eyes out, but there's nothing of the sort. They all look completely surprised except for Solix, who is only mildly so, but that's all. You're fine, but I went into... You stammer out into surprise. Oh, right, the insanity and eye-gouging thing. Fae already exist between realities, so they're fine. Rose has spent years dealing with an eldritch god to get used to things that shouldn't be possible, and Dave... Solix hesitates. You've been on Unreal Air, Dave says with amusement. Yeah, you suppose that might do it. Plus, he grew up with Rose. Thank fuck for that. I didn't mean to go that far, but I did get wings back. I'm just glad June wasn't here, you say in relief. You flutter your wings a little to get some lift as you stand back up again. On the subject of people who are back in New York, we really should be going, Solix says in surprise. Wait, what? You're going now? I thought you were staying until the solstice, you say in surprise. Mom, isn't doing so hot without us. Sorry. Dave apologizes quietly. Oh, I'm sorry. Of course you have to go back. We can still chat online, though, yeah? You say hopefully, and Dave nods at that, the edge taken off of his melancholy. I'll hold you to that, Rose smiles at you. Hey, what about me? Solix protests. As, I know what you really want me to send you, you snort. Dave and Rose both raise their eyebrows in mirror images of surprise and very much interpreted innuendo. You do, huh? Solix grins. Yep, pictures of Jade's dog, you nod. Solix gasps and brightens in a way that you can describe with no other words but adorable. Shit, yes, I want pics of Beck. Solix agrees eagerly. I must have about 10,000 pictures of him, Jade beams. Solix whirls around and looks at her in eager anticipation. Gimme, he says. I think I'll hold on to them and trade them to you for things I want later. Jade grins impishly. You, Solix tells her, would make an excellent demon. Thanks, Jade chirps. Anyway, we should go. Later, Solix says. He vaguely waves at you, and then all three of them are gone in an instant. Then it's just you and Jade. You don't even really know where Beck is. That didn't really work out for Rose, did it? Jade observes casually and stirs a spoon around in her oatmeal. Not so much, no, you agree. With a little focus, you're able to put your wings away. Now that you can recall the feeling, you're able to just do it. Like Matuna, you think you'd find it hard to give proper instruction on how to actually make your wings go away. You just need to grasp the concept and then do the thing. You're pretty tired after your sleepless night, and you're sure Rose disturbed Jade's sleep as well, so you're glad that she seems intent on having a pretty chill day. You spend most of the day watching mind-numbing cartoons together as Beck sprawls out between you, begging for attention and tummy rubs. You're not a monster, so you have to oblige him. Even send pictures to Solix because you're nice like that. When evening comes, you assist Jade in making a vegetable lasagna with fresh vegetables from her greenhouse. Apparently, there's even a little fenced-off section of the island where she grows wheat and other grains. You don't entirely understand the process, but you get the idea that she made the pasta sheets too. It's unquestionably the best lasagna you've ever had. Jade waits until you're mid-bite to speak. We should probably sleep together, she says casually, and of course you choke on your food. Jade barks out a laugh, amused by her own trick. What I mean is there's no point in you sleeping on the floor, silly. My bed was big enough for me and Rose, and if it's just us, there's no reason you shouldn't sleep in the bed with me. Jade corrects. Yeah, but Rose, you try and say, but even you're aware that insisting that they're both girls is so it's different doesn't really work. Rose is gay, and you don't know about Jade. Also, you don't know how directly Fae genders map onto human ones either. Besides, you're in a relationship, or two relationships really, given what you have with Dave is very different from Solux. You're not interested in doing anything inappropriate, and you doubt Jade is either. Right, you say instead. Plus, we can get all those cushions off my floor, Jade nods. They do get in the way. You can't argue with that. That evening, you put everything on Jade's floor back where it should be, and as you're brushing your teeth, you hope that you'll be able to sleep tonight. You can see the tiniest little crescent of moon as the true new moon fades away and its cycle goes on. For some reason, you suspect that sleep won't be a problem. Any awkwardness you'd been worried about when it came to sharing a bed with Jade is gone when it actually happens. The bed is large, so Jade isn't an inch from your face or anything. Beck, on the other hand... Good boy, you mumble sleepily and scratch its ears. Beck's tail wags from one side to the other, smacking you and then Jade in the legs and turns. A glowing green mouth falls open and you scratch behind his ears. A day-glow tongue lolls out happily. You sleep just fine, and when you wake, you don't remember having any dreams at all. Before you get up before Jade wakes to make you both breakfast. You decide on scrambled eggs and toast. You don't know where Jade gets the eggs from. Possibly there's some wild chickens or some other kind of bird on the island. You crack the eggs open into a bowl as Beck sits expectantly at your feet. Do hellhounds eat eggshells? Beck is giving me the eye. Hellhounds eat anything. Alright then. How's Roxy doing? Driving her kids crazy, but till 'tis the season for that, I think. That's what Twitter at Christmas time had always led me to believe for sure. Alright, I'm gonna get back to cooking. KK. I hate that what you just wrote is comprehensible to me. You want these? You ask Beck, holding the empty eggshells up in one hand. Beck sits up straight, his front paws bouncing off of the ground, one after the other, in a desperate doggy dance. Catch, you exclaim, and toss the eggshells at him. Beck bounds in the air and snatches them all up, crunching them happily in his radioactively green mouth. As he whisks the eggs in the bowl, Beck licks the floor in search of anything he might have dropped. By the time you're turning the toaster on and pouring hot water over the coffee grounds in the drip filter, he's bothering you again. I just gave you eggshells, you sigh as Beck whines and presses his nose into your hip. He whines some more, as if no one has ever fed him in his entire life. You're not going to give him anything else to eat, but you will scratch behind his ears. With your free hand, you pick up your phone again and message Dave. Theoretical question. I have wings, so is it some form of cannibalism to eat eggs? You're not a chicken, and on top of that, you're not even from this plane of reality. You're so far from being a chicken cannibal that you're nowhere near any road or the other side that a chicken could have anything to do with. Thank you for clearing up that ethical problem for me. How are things in New York? Oh, you know, alone in the middle of the woods, bored out of my mind, and my sister and my Moirail are still prickly with each other, and I'm pretty sure Mom isn't actually unwell and just pretended so we'd come home. What, really? Yeah. How do you mean? You saw what she was like before when she was genuinely confused, cooking things that aren't food or cutting things in half, getting turned around about what time or day it is, or being surprised at how old me and Rose are now and then. There's magical misfires. And the paranoia that someone is here that leads to obsessively stalking the property line and throwing up protective spells, like they're going out of style. That's really rough. I'm sorry. It's whatever. But it's like she's playing at it, or pretending to be like that, which Rose is taking as some big passive-aggressive gesture through logic that is so nonlinear that all optical illusions everywhere just shat their pants in fear. That was the grossest metaphor, but whatever. Why would she fake it, though? Do you think she's just missed you and couldn't think of a reason to bring you back? And wouldn't Solix have noticed if it was fake, too? Yeah, that's what I wonder. If anything, he's acting like my mom's behavior is totally legitimate, and I have no idea why. You think they're conspiring together? Why would they do that? I have no idea, and I can't see why he would. He cares about my mom as much as we do, so I can't see why he'd lie about that stuff. Not that the fact that something is weird here is driving me crazy or anything. No, sir. I can't think of anything that would require them lying about this together that he couldn't just straight up tell you. If he was still paranoid about this island and wanted you to leave with him, then surely he'd just say so. Yeah, he would for sure. The only thing he can't tell me about is event stuff, which doesn't seem at all connected to anything here, right? Yeah, I mean, the only thing that freaked him out recently was the temple, and you and Rose having that weird-ass dream. But she said she wasn't seeing your dream, but instead it was the same one, like the Matrix or something. I doubt that's how she put it. Shh. Also, I don't see how moving Rose away from you would help. If the island was dangerous enough that he wanted us off of it, he wouldn't leave you and Jade there. Nothing adds up. Unless your mom really is doing badly and it's just manifesting weirdly, that's certainly the more simple solution. Yeah, but you'd rather not think about that? Yeah. We don't have to talk about it. Really, I feel bad for saying that. No, man, don't feel bad. I hate the idea that maybe she's getting worse or she's staying the same, but acting in ways I don't understand because they're new, and I'm just thinking up conspiracy theories to dodge that idea, and it's dumb. It's not dumb. It's a perfectly normal response to stress, I guess. Were you asking me about the eggs because you were cooking or something? Right, do you think Jade likes her toast burnt? Maybe feed it to Beck and start over? He's got you onto his cause as well, huh? Alright, I should cook properly. If you want to talk to me later, I'm here. Thanks, man. Sorry for getting all emotional on you, like some swooning damsel all collapsing on a fainting couch with vapors because the most minor thing happened. Oh, Mr. Carcat, how could I be so gosh to say such an improper thing to you? Scrolling past all that nonsense. Bye, Dave. Boo. I take the damn near cremated bread out the toaster and hold it up for Beck. You frisbee it away from him, and with a bark he zaps off to catch it. Slotting new bread into the toaster, you fuss with the coffee and set about actually starting to cook the eggs. As you gently scramble them, you can't help but wonder about Dave and Rose's mom. On one hand, you want to say that if anyone would know if she's just pretending to be unwell, it would be her own kids. But on the other, you can't see why she would lie, and Solix would enable that. You suppose the simple solution is that Solix is inclined to believe Roxy about how she's doing and is erring on the side of caution, and that she was just lonely without her kids around. Pushing the idea from your mind, you take the eggs off of the heat, butter the toast, and serve the eggs onto it. It's a careful journey back to Jade's room with everything balanced on a tray, especially with a dog following who dearly hopes that you might drop something he can eat. Nudging the door to Jade's room open, with your foot you maneuver the tray of breakfast food inside, Beck still trailing at your heels the whole way. Breakfast? Jade yawns, slurring her letters slightly as she does. She sits up in bed, rubs her eyes, and fumbles for her glasses. I woke you up before, so you shrug and put the tray on the bed. Nope, off, Jade sighs, shoving her hellhound off the bed the moment he jumps up to eat the breakfast that must surely be for him. He was very persistent, you snort. Beck has his face on the edge of the mattress, and if he had any eyes, you think he'd be giving you big old puppy dog eyes to make you feel sorry, so you feed him. Oh, I believe you. Thanks for this, car cat. It's really sweet of you. You're an angel. Jade teases. Har har, you grumble, and take your own plate from the tray. Jade sips her coffee and sighs in the familiar bliss of freshly caffeinated. Anyway, you're letting me stay with you instead of being all on my own in Salem. Making you breakfast with your own food isn't really a stretch, you point out. I was thinking, actually, that today you could help me out with our little agreement. My grandpa's library is huge, but there's gotta be information in there that will explain some of this mess. Any of it, really. Besides, you know that worm, so it shouldn't be too hard to get what we need, Jade explains. I think Abraxas needs you to be specific about what you're looking for. I don't think it's great with vague questions, you tell her, remembering Rose's futile search for information on the moon. Well, we have plenty of time, Jade says, clearly determined. You've not known Jade all that long, but you're starting to get the impression that the women you tend to associate with are as determined and impossible to resist as a force of nature. More so, actually, you are able to fly a little before in defiance of gravity, and you think that your odds of disobeying that law of nature are better than talking Jade out of this mission she's set herself in. Alright then, you agree. The two of you finish your breakfast, your plates cleaned by Beck, before you can close the dishwasher and keep him off of them, but you think that's probably normal for him. With that done, you and Jade go up to her grandpa's study again. The shelves in one area are lined with dated journals. It seems that Jake Harley was quite detailed in chronicling his life, something that can only be good for you. I figure that asking Abraxas about the island is going to be too vague, but we found an atlas back in the university that said that your grandpa discovered this place in the late 80s, you explain. That's still a pretty wide span of time, Jade points out and runs her index finger over many volumes that span from 1985 to the very beginning of 1990. We might just have to read them all cover to cover. It's the long way around, but it's thorough at least, you admit. Jade selects a volume from the mid-80s at random, flicks to a page in the middle, and starts to read aloud. Excuse me. Submitted the bloody risk assessment to the department, filled out all their little boxes and silly questions. Frankly, I'll be glad to be rid of that sort of guff in the future. On the way home, I remembered to pick up bread and milk, but as I'm writing this, I realized that I quite forgot to pick up the tea bag, so I do feel quite the ninny. It's just raining so much outside, and I really don't want to go out again, and... Jade stops reading and gives you a look, communicating quite effectively that reading these things cover to cover will be excruciating. Wait, why isn't he doing risk assessments in the future? You ask. That seems like the kind of thing someone should do, especially as one of his experiments ended with someone losing bones before. I don't know, he doesn't explain. Jade frowns as she scans the page a little more, silently this time. That's the problem with diaries. People don't elaborate on what they already know because they're not the ones meant to read them. Abraxas, you call out. There's movement from the desk, and you see Abraxas' little green head pop out of Rose's textbook. Hi, would you be able to find any entries in this where Jake talks about not doing or not having to do risk assessments in this book? You ask, and Jade holds it up. Could you show us, please? You're careful to be polite, given what you've already put the poor bookworm through. There's a fair few entries in just that one book, Abraxas warns you. That's okay, you reply. Like Jade said, you have time, haven't you? With its tail, Abraxas gestures for the book, and Jade brings it closer. The bookworm bounces up off of Rose's textbook and dives into the diary that Jade is holding. The pages flick by themselves and stop early in the book. You and Jade both lean in and have a read. Always with the paperwork. I handed in the epoxy risk assessment today after a few weeks of not doing it. I don't know why I can't just photocopy the last one. The experiments are broadly the same each time, but no. I don't think that's it, Jade says. You've asked for a few more entries where her grandpa mentions not doing what he should be doing, and even palming it off to other people who are working for him. I keep thinking about the offer my gentleman caller made me, especially as I am up to my mustache right now in paperwork, and I'd much rather be doing the exciting stuff. That's why it's such a tempting offer, isn't it? I won't have to do any paperwork. I won't do risk assessments. I won't even have to deal with junior researchers anymore. No, nor, as he pointed out, would I need to concern myself with the ethics board. I am sorely tempted. Think of all that I could discover, all the good my work could do. Of course, unless I keep very detailed notes and pass them off when I'm done, no one else will know about any of it. I certainly can't submit any of it for peer review when I'm still working, not if I'm doing so outside the system. I must think of his offer. I've no idea when he'll next show up like a stray cat again, but when he does, I really need to be firmly set on my offer, or my response to his offer. I have a lot of thinking to do. He mentioned a gentleman caller in the entry that I was in too, you say. It's a very old-timey phrase, the kind of thing that he used to the kind of thing he always used to say. It means a man he's dating, right? Jade frowns. Yeah, but I think it was something women had, which I guess means he's presenting himself in the... Anyway, it doesn't matter. Unless he's making a joke or misusing the phrase, I think your grandpa was dating a guy, you say. Good for him, I guess. I knew he was married to a lady at one point who died. I've seen her in pictures. It must mean that he had other relationships. Never really talked about all that sort of stuff. I don't know. Or I don't even know anything about our... I don't even know anything about any of our family but him. Or his family, I guess, since they're all human. I'm a changeling. Jade trails off a little at the end. You knew that Jade was a changeling, of course. It means that she's full fae, just swapped out at birth for a human child. Naturally, there's a lot of prejudice there, but changelings can't be held responsible for the abduction of children they replace, and human laws don't extend into fae territory. Legally speaking, they're regarded as the full children of the family they find themselves in, even if it's by adoption rather than blood. Fae or not, Jade is still Jake Harley's granddaughter. They're your family too, you tell her softly. I mean, not really. I can only assume that he took me in after whichever of my parents was his kid gave me up to him. I'm probably the reason they never came here either. He never talked about it, and I felt too guilty to ask, Jade admits. The moment hangs in the air, with her looking at the book instead of you. You lean over and carefully wrap your arm around her. With a slight shudder, you feel your wings appear, and you're confused by it until they wrap around her too. You're hugging her the most you possibly can. Too bad about your ripped shirt on the floor, but that's a problem you can deal with later. It's fine, really. It's not like it was bad. I loved Grandpa, and this island is paradise, remember? Jade says into your shoulder with a brightness that feels brittle to you. You have us now, too, you remind her. Jade's teeth sinks into her bottom lip for a moment, and then she hugs you back tightly. Her arms knot around the back of your neck, and you curl your arms and wings around her back. You know how it sucks to feel like you don't belong, and if she's felt other to her whole family, even if it's just a little, then you can relate to that ache. She pulls back with a sniff and a laugh, forcing the emotion down to cheer again. You're not going to press it. It takes a moment or two for you to make your wings go away again, and when you're back to normal, Jade is flicking through the pages. You rummage through your bag for a new shirt. Here, look, Jade exclaims, pointing at a page and shoving the diary under your nose. June 15th, 1985. I have no idea how he does this. I'm off, out in the back of the Beyond on a research study, ostensibly looking into scrying runes and some cave system out here, but really I'm on the lookout for a jackalope for my collection. Not that the runes wouldn't be fantastic and all, but fingers and many pies and all that. Anyway, I come back and Jerry's on lookout duty at the camp, and everyone else is out like a light, despite it not being all that late. I step into my personal tent, and, of course, it's my gentleman caller. It's also not my tent. Oh, the flap was there, but it led into this plush boudoir that was oh so opulent as to be eye-wateringly gaudy, which I'm sure is the point. He, of course, is sprawled out in some giant armchair, holding a crystal wine glass with honest-to-God diamonds in the bottom as he sips champagne from it. I can't imagine that the diamonds did anything for it, nor is that the right glass, but again, I'm sure it's all deliberate. I had been meaning to stay away from him, but that's never how it's worked. He finds me. He said he had an offer to make me. I tried to refuse outright. Just because my dearest is with the angels now, it doesn't mean that it's right for me to dally with him. I should have held to my vows more seriously when she was alive, and I really had every intention of honoring her memory after. The last time I had vowed was the last, and I was only so weak as to be with him out of grief, a misguided need for affection and attention. He insisted that I listen to him, and he is so very compelling. He offered me a way to get around my problems with academia, a place I could study whatever I wanted without all those pencil pushers breathing down my neck. A paradise, all on my own. I could transport whatever creatures I fancied to study there, and do what I wanted with them after. He offered to even have his people bring me everything I needed there. No peer review, no paperwork, anything my heart desired. I was not so naive as to not ask what he wanted in return for such an extravagant gift. He told me that he'd created the island, and his only caveat would be that he wanted to keep something of his own there. A box. I just had to agree not to mention about it to anyone. It is a suspiciously good deal, and I was all set to say no when he insisted that I not give him my answer then and there, but consider it for the next time he swings by. And that was the end of the conversation part of his visit. I somewhat hope that the deceased can't keep watch after they've passed on. I just find my gentleman caller so hard to resist. But I suppose I found him, so when she was still alive. Damn it all. Wow, Grandpa, Jade says flatly. In all honesty, it doesn't paint the man in a fantastic light now, does it? He must have said yes eventually. The island is here now, you point out. So, Solix was right. There is something suspicious about this place, Jade says. She has a point. The point you ought to bring up with Solix, but that feels like going behind Dave's back, when he clearly was upset with how obsessive Solix was getting about this whole mystery. So then maybe you should talk to Dave, but that cuts Solix out. Stupid polyamorous negotiations. You should talk to both of them. Okay, and then Carcinogenesis began trolling Turntech Godhead and Twin Armageddons. Look, at this group chat feature that no one ever uses, I may have something that I need to talk to you both about at the same time, as a way of fixing my who do I talk to first problem. That sounds like a neat solution. Should I be nervous about this? I mean, this isn't a we need to talk situation, is it? Whoa, no, I mean, we do need to talk, but we don't, quote, need to talk. Ah, clarity. And yet I get you entirely. So what's on your mind, Carcat? So, about that thing before, where the island is suspicious and something is going on here, that thing that Solix was absolutely dropping and not obsessing over anymore, investigating further. Wait, does that mean you have proof, KK? Dude, we talked about this, how you're not starting that up again. Sorry, I didn't mean to upset things. No, man, I appreciate that island is probably weird as fuck because Jade's grandpa was all over that place, and he was pretty powerful witch, too. I mean, my house is weird as shit because Mom put it here and it's magicked out the ass. That's not entirely how that works, but okay. Shh. No, I take your point, that a certain amount of oddness is to be expected when you're dealing with as much of a magical fuckery and irresponsible uses of that as you get with witches of that level. Right. So there's no new info here, and Sol should just still not be obsessing over it and make himself sick with worry, because I hate seeing him like that. Dee, he could just tell me what he found. Doesn't have to be a big deal. No. Come on, man. Don't make me be a jerk about this. Shit, this is exactly what I didn't want. I didn't want to cut anyone out by going to one of you before the other, but I didn't want to start an argument either. How the hell do people balance shit when they date two people? I'm terrible at this. I'm sorry. Dude, no, this is probably the best idea. You're fine. Stop complimenting him. It'll go right to his head. He is also fine like that too, but I'm gonna pretend that was intended. Bypassing that because I don't know what to do with it. So to be clear, you don't want me to tell you what I found out. Are you in immediate danger? No. Then, no. Well, okay then. Thanks for being all thoughtful and shit though, Carcat. It is sweet of you. Oh, thanks. I should probably get back to Jade though. I just stopped what I was doing to message you two about this and I promised to help. Just as long as you didn't vow. No, but I promised to Faye, so I might as well have. Dumbass. Aw, I'm gonna print this out and put it in a scrapbook. Wait, what? That settles that. You can't tell them anything about what you found. Maybe if you look deeper into it and discover something really dangerous, then you can. Or perhaps you could talk to Matuna about it, but you don't know how to get in contact with him. Then again, you wouldn't want him to come to the conclusion that you were trying to undo anything and risk him trying to kill you. What do we do now then? You ask Jade. Well, maybe we'd know more if we knew more about everyone. I'm going to assume that his beloved is his wife, the one I've seen in pictures of. Maybe if we just find out more about his past, then we can try to retrace his steps. Find out how he got this island and who his gentleman caller is. Jade says thoughtfully. That makes sense. Do you know her name? You ask, but Jade shakes her head no. I can show you pictures of her, though, she says after a moment. Jade leads you out of the room, down a few floors and into a side room filled with stuff. On one wall is a signed photo, tinted blue with age and sunlight exposure. A woman smiles enticingly from the picture, and black pens the words, "To Jake, my biggest fan, Claire." He said they were married, you ask? This doesn't look like a photo from someone he was married to. It looks like an autograph to any old fan who happened to be called Jake. Yeah, maybe it's from when they first met, Jade says, but you can hear doubt creeping into her tone. What if her grandpa was a deranged stalker, too? We can probably find out more about them if we looked up marriage records. That stuff is all public record, I think, and the university would have his full legal name, so I could search from that. You say as the idea occurs to you. Alright then, let's do that, Jade agrees. You go back to Jade's room and get your laptop. It turns out that Jake Harley's name is really that simple. Jake doesn't seem to be short of anything, like Jacob, so you can just plug his name into the government website that deals with marriage records. There's a fair few Jake Harleys, but given that this whole country over the span of records, you're not surprised. You get your browser to find the word Claire on the page. There's a few matches, but only one that fits the time frame you're looking at. 1st of May, 1976, Dr. Jake Harley marries Anne Claire. Jade is on her own laptop next to you, and she immediately throws the name into Google. There's no way it could be that easy. Anne isn't exactly a rare name, and Claire as a last name isn't especially unusual either. All your doubt is seemingly pointless, because the search brings up a bunch of website results, but also a bar of images that look like the woman in the signed picture downstairs. She even has a Wikipedia entry. She was famous, Jade whispers. She clicks through, and the Wikipedia confirms that Anne Claire was a prominent ballet dancer in America in the 70s. She married Dr. Jake Harley, but because of her career, she didn't change her name. That makes sense. When you've built up a profile and reputation attached to your name, it must suck to have to change it. Better to just not do that. It lists that she was the mother to 2 children. Her first child was a daughter, Joey Harley, who was born in 1980. Her second child was a son, Jude Harley, born in 1983, not 1930, born in 1983. Unfortunately, neither child has a Wikipedia page of their own. There's no link with them either, so they're not famous, or they go a good deal of effort to keep their lives out of the public eye. Anne Claire died in 1984 of fire in the theater she was at. Shit. So one of these two are probably, Jade trails off. Either Jude or Joey are the parent of the child that Jade was changed for. Unless Jake had any other kids, that is. His Wikipedia page doesn't indicate that he ever remarried or had further children. It does state that he worked with Roxy Lalonde a lot in his research. Her name stands out in hyperlinked blue text. Out of curiosity, you click her link and find that it lists all her work and research up until the year 2000, at which point there's no information at all. Literally, there's nothing else. No mention of Dave and Rose, nothing about them living in New York, or about her retired from work, nothing. Curiosity compels you to click through the article's history, and it seems that any attempts to modify the page for a time period after the year 2000 glitches and deletes the whole page. The commenters and editors of the page seem to have just set a ban on trying to put any information down at all, even in the comments and editing notes. What was it that Solix said again? Void magic? Yeah, this seems like Roxy's doing. Someone paranoid enough to live on a magically hidden property in the middle of the woods is probably inclined to protect their privacy, even online. Well then, Jake has only 2 children, and one of them has to be related to Jade. Or rather, they both are, but one is going to be the parent of the human that Jade was swapped out with. What do you want to do? You ask her. Jade gnaws on her lip for a moment as she thinks. I want to know more about my grandpa. His kids should be able to tell me something, but, well, I doubt they want to see me, Jade said softly. You don't know that. Look at the year they were born. Whichever one of them it is, it's going to have been a teen pregnancy, right? Giving up a kid to your parent in that situation isn't unusual. Maybe they felt guilty or like they'd forfeited a right to be in your life. Maybe whichever one of them is wants to talk to you, you reason. But I'm not their kid. I'm the thing that replaced their kid, Jade says sharply. You're not a thing, and if they say you are, I'll figure out how to smite people for you tell her firmly. You're not going to lecture Jade on how to feel about the implications of being a changeling, but you're also not going to let her act like she's a monster either. That's sweet, but I don't know where exactly they live, Jade says. Maybe we do. That letter Roxy sent him was to his home. That was in Massachusetts, so we have the address, you tell her excitedly. You can look it up and get directions. That was a long time ago, though, Jade points out. Yeah, but what's the worst that can happen? If they moved away, we could ask for a forwarding address, or if there's nothing, then we're no worse than we are now, right? We can, except we only have 1 ticket back. If we left to go back, we'd be stuck there. We could get a bus or something back to Salem, but then we'd be there until the term starts again, you say as realization settles over you. Except we know someone who can teleport, someone you happen to be dating. Jade grins. Oh no. Solux isn't exactly in the business of doing me favors for free, you tell her uneasily. Sure, Solux helps you of his own free will. He's actually been very caring and sweet with you. The thing is, you didn't ask him for any of that. You get the feeling that you asking gives him a certain amount of power over you, and that's the kind of thing he'd be inclined to gloat about. I thought you'd do anything to help out and make amends for all the ways you wronged me, Jade says sweetly, leaning closer to you in a way that you'd class as mildly threatening. Ugh, why did you agree to that again? Fine, I'll ask him. He's going to be insufferable about it, though. You sigh and open up the desktop version of Trollian. Jade doesn't hide how she's reading over your shoulder. Allow me to preface this by saying that I am, in fact, very grateful for all you've done for me lately. I know that shit has been weird since I discovered what I am, but it would have been a whole lot worse without you. So up front, I want to tell you that I'm thankful. No but, I'm grateful. Suspicious. Go on. If Jade and I needed to get from here to Haunswich, Massachusetts and back again, how inclined would you be to give us a lift? With your magic teleportation abilities, since neither of us have the funds to bounce back and forth like that through the ports. I'm not your personal taxi surface. I don't do shit for free. You mean you would want something in return as payment? Yes. So you would transport us for payment of some kind, making you essentially, wait for it, a taxi surface. You wait, certain that you can feel the irritation flowing through the air from him to you, and even with him all the way in New York, and you in the middle of the Pacific. It's satisfying. I hate you, you know that, right? Same, but if you want to be paid for this favor, I could do that. Jade is reading over my shoulder, FYI. Implying that I have any shame. You're right, whatever came over me. I can think of something I want, though. I'll be there in a few hours. Wait, you didn't even tell me what it was. Sucks for you, then, doesn't it? Well, that's happening, I guess. You groan and shut your laptop. I appreciate whatever it is you're gonna have to do, Jade says and claps you on the shoulder. Jade makes some vague excuse to leave, and you don't press her on it. Everything the two of you have read so far is pretty big and revealing stuff on some very heavy subjects. You don't blame her for wanting some time to herself to think. 2 hours pass. The fact that it was specifically that should tip you off, but you're an idiot. You hear a puff of smoke that you're used to, associating with Solux, but before you can react, his hands are on your sides, and you're abruptly not in the room you were just in. You yelp, both from the shock of sudden movement, and because you're now on top of the roof of Jade's building. You can fly, stupid. Did you forget? Solux teases you and floats around so that he's in front of you now. I didn't forget, but you can't just show up here and drag me onto the roof. You hiss at him, then back away from the edge a little. Not that it's really an edge as such. The roof is a sphere, so you're backing into a safer center location than the steeply sloped section out further out. I can, actually, he says with a grin. Why am I up here? You ask him. You can sense that if you don't change the subject, the two of you are going to just go around in circles as you bicker back and forth. Because I want to throw you off the roof, Solux says casually. You stare. He grins. What? You ask him again. I am going to throw you off of the roof, Solux tells you. You back up a little more. Did you forget that you can fly again? Solux says with a sharp grin. Did you forget that I can't? I fell out of this building and smashed into a tree. Look at my head, you insist, and point to the still prominent lump on your forehead. You were panicking, and there was a huge storm going on. It's not like falling off this building would even kill you, and I wouldn't let you hit the ground anyway. Solux says and rolls his eyes so far into his head that he follows the movement, as if you were being dramatic and not talking about being thrown off of a building. What if I can't? You say again. Solux alights on the curved roof and walks closer to you. I wasn't going to throw you off and stay up here. You're not going to hit anything, he tells you. You trying to protest, to argue that you can't do it. Of course you can't fly. You'll just fall and hurt yourself, because why would you be able to fly? But you are an angel. Angels fly. You want to ask him if you've flown with him before, but that's a question about your past. He might not be able to answer it. The memory of him looking after your wings floats up in your mind. He was familiar with them. It would probably be odd for you to both be capable of flight and not have flown together. If he's willing to throw you off the building, he has to be sure you can actually fly, right? This is what you wanted? To get me to fly? You ask and try to keep the shaking out of your voice. You let me name my own price. A dumb move, actually. He shrugs. Maybe I trust you, you retort. The expression that flits over Solux's face makes you think that you may as well have said you just loved him, or hated him, whatever. You didn't die when you fell out the building, and you're not that much higher. Even if Solux did nothing, you'd probably just be hurt. You don't think he'll even let that happen. You swallow, trying to ease the way your throat tightens with nerves. Carefully, you peel your shirt off and flex wings that aren't there until they emerge. Actually, Matuna was wearing his shirt still when he brought his wings out, so why do you always have to take yours off, or else lose it? You should ask Matuna how he does that next time you see him. Somehow you suspect Solux will be wildly unhelpful in allowing you to have wings and a shirt on at the same time. So how do I... Oh, why am I asking you? You just fly by magic. You grumble and stretch your wings out. Some people have to do this shit manually. Oh, yeah, nothing about your flight is in any way magical, Solux says sarcastically. You flap your wings hard, trying to test the movement. Not a smart thing to do on top of a building. On the top of a round, slippery building. The force of your wings flapping staggers you backwards, and you're so much heavier behind your back because these giant wings that you're carting around. Your center of gravity is further back than you're used to. Between that and the momentum, you're stumbling back, falling, and tipping further and further. Shit, Solux curses and flings himself at you. His hand collides with your shoulders, and you feel him shove you further away from the building so that you don't hit it on the way down. You don't know if he pivots you in the air or if you twist and manage it. All you know is that you go from falling, facing up at the sky, to desperately flapping as you face the ground. Solux is beneath you now, his claws dug into your shoulders slightly as he holds on. Stop panicking and fly, he shouts at you over the wind. He's pushing back at you, slowing your descent. Your wings arc up, so much that the tips almost touch far above you. Then, with an almighty beat of your giant things, you rocket off, mostly upwards. You shoot away from Solux, his claws scratching you as you speed out of his grip. Clouds are suddenly a thing far below you, and you can't even see the island anymore. The air around you is cold and thin. A flare of blue and red streaks towards you, and suddenly Solux is before you again, but you're starting to fall once more. Solux puts himself between you and the ground. He doesn't hold your shoulders this time. He holds onto you with a leg around your hip and uses his hand to grab your wings to pull them flat. You stop falling, or the amount of height you're losing is almost nothing. Oh, shit, oh, fuck, what? You gasp. You can glide, dude. It's mostly magic. I think the wings are just a focus, or whatever. I know you can't fly without them, but no way this would work without magic. It's like Terezi. She shouldn't be able to fly at all with the size and weight she is, but it's magic. Solux sighs in relief. One of his hands absently smooths over your feathers. How do I... You trail off as you carefully change the balance of your wings. The positioning, and who knows how many tiny muscles connected to the little feathers. You start to turn in a wide circle, like a bird of prey hovering as it surveys the ground below. You shift and circle the other way. How did I get up here so fast? You whisper. You don't know why you're whispering. Do you think that if you talk louder, gravity will notice the shit you're doing and drag you back down? I can get places faster than you can. I can teleport and you can't, Solux says. That's not what I... But you might be a little quicker at the start with the physical flying, or whatever. Solux shrugs. He's not looking at you. So, I'm faster, and you just teleport to catch up, you say slowly. No, Solux hisses. Oh, yes, that's exactly it, isn't it? You grin, and he hisses at you as if that scares you at all. You don't even know what you're doing, you ungrateful bird-brained feathery fuck, Solux complains. He ducks under your arm and wing and flies up over you so that he's almost sitting on your back below your wings. Hey, this isn't a ride, you snap. You try and reach back to swat him, but you instinctively move your wing out of the way to accommodate your arm. Unfortunately, you were flying with it and you start to plummet again. Solux's hands hold onto your wings and manually adjust so that you're steady again. He leans forward, his hand pressing on your spine just between your wings so he can get close to your face. Welcome to flying school for idiots, he purrs in a way that you can only describe as gleefully malicious. Between verbally directing you and outright moving your wings how he wants them, Solux manages to reconnect your conscious mind with the thus far dormant instincts in the back of your mind. Part of you knows how to control your wings, how to tip and tilt them in one way or another, so the tiniest change results in graceful movement. Yet, a huge part of you understands nothing of the sort and is freaking out about even being up here. The more he teaches you, the more you're able to relax and let your instincts deal with it. A few times when you're changing direction and getting into flying, you take off with incredible speed and end up losing Solux as he tumbles off of you or away from where he was before. He always catches you right back up afterwards, either flying as well or by teleporting to you. The glittering surface of the ocean beckons you, so you dip lower in the air. Every wide beat of your wings comes just short of actually touching the sea. The part of you that knows how to fly is entirely fine with this. Happy to be flying, in fact. The part of you that distinctively remembers crashing into that tree is playing you high-speed visions of you smashing into the water's surface at whatever crazy speed you're going now. You're going to hit the water, and it'll be like hitting concrete, and you'll die. You beat your wings slowly and almost gracefully, and that tends to produce less of a panic fluttering at a million miles an hour. It takes focus and pointedly ignoring the panic part of your mind, but you're able to ease the path of your flight to put you right near Solux. Did you miss this? You call out to him as the pair of you track a wide circle around Jade's Island in the far distance. You've only just learned to fly, and it's been years since the two of you could have possibly flown together. You don't know how often you did this before the event, but this feels like something you would have missed. You're such a sap, Solux tuts and shakes his head. It's not a no, though. You think that he did miss this. You think that he missed being with you after all this time, and he missed flying with you, even though you're two very different species who do this in totally mismatched ways. Him calling you a sap is just a deflection. Without warning, Solux twists in the air, going above you so you can't see him. You're just about to look when you feel him touch your back again. Despite the fact that you're still flying very fast, he stretches out over your back in the space between your wings, as if you were some kind of beach chair and not an angel. Why do you even want to go wherever it was you asked me to take you to? Solix asks, leaning forward so he can talk right into your ear over the wind. For Jade, you say back over the noise of the wind. You're coming close to the island now. You've never landed before aside from crashing into that tree, so you're just trying to play it by instincts. Why does Jade want to— KK, that's too fast, Solux yelps. His claws prick against your skin, and you realize far too late that he's right as the beach races to you, and you're far too low to land properly. You're going to crash. The world flares blue and red around you. Your skin tingles with it, and all at once you're curving upwards and losing speed fast until you're drifting gently down to the beach. Solux just saved you from crashing without even a second thought. Such a stupid way of flying. Angels really do have shit the hard way, Solux mutters as the two of you slowly touch down to the beach. He looks poised to carry on his angel suck demons rules theme speech, but you didn't really give him the chance, or you don't give him the chance. Instead, you grab him by the shirt with your left hand and pull him right up close to you. As soon as you reasonably can, you get your other hand on the corner of his jaw so that when you kiss him, you can be sure that you're going to do it right and not just slam your face into his. He saved your goddamn life, or at least he saved you a lot of pain, sanded off skin, and yet another crash. He protected you like this whole black romance deal promised he would. His feelings are so sincere that he seems surprised indeed that you're this grateful. It's like the possibility of not saving you hadn't even crossed his mind. So yeah, of course you kiss him. Despite the surprise noise your kiss elicits from him, you can't say that Solux resists at all. If anything, he's wildly enthusiastic. He kisses you back just as intently, one hand stuck in your hair with his claws to your scalp, at the other and on the space between your wings. If this is some kind of competition, you think you're got a good deal of opening points for starting the kiss, but he has to have got a lot for dramatically saving your life beforehand. So you really need to catch up, don't you? You should be thinking of some way to do that, but it's hard to think straight when the guy you're kissing has a forked tongue that is far more exciting than it has any right to be. Actually, this whole game is rigged. He remembers things about you that you haven't relearned about him yet. This is unfair, and you should call a referee. Wait, that just makes you think of Dave, and that sends your overexcited mind down a whole road of possibilities. Solux's fingertips press against your skin on your back between your wings, his index and middle on either side of your spine there. Then he does something. It feels like a vibration almost, as if you were a tuning fork, and Solux has struck you at just the right note so you're resonating all over. His fingers against your bare skin is harmonic notes to whatever you're at, and you swear you feel them go through you. It's not that he's stabbed through your skin or anything painful like that. Far from it. It feels like he's everywhere. It reminds you of when he put his hand in your chest, and you realize that this isn't really your body, and Solux is just as negotiable as yours. If you were a bowl of red-tinted water, then Solux is a drop of yellow dye, his fingers grazing through the boundaries of what you consider you, and suffusing you with orange. He'd kill for you. He saved your life just now. He lost you and got you back again. Even if you can't remember, you can feel how grateful he is to have you back at all. You don't know if he's getting something back from you in return, but you hope he is. You hope he can tell just how intense your feelings are for him. Even though so much of this is new to you, it doesn't make it any less powerful. You can't actually kiss him forever, so you try to stop. Only when you pull back, he chases after you a second, and you get caught up again. Then, when he decides to end the kiss, you have to get him back, because that's how this whole rivalry thing works, right? Or maybe you just like kissing him, who knows. Eventually, the two of you both lean back enough to look at each other, both a little out of breath. You can feel the way your face is warm, and his is gold-tinged and lit up with a wide smile that shows off sharp teeth. I missed your halo. It always glows so much more when you're happy, Solix says softly, and goes his fingertips over your hair. It's probably as close as he can to get to touching that persistent backlighting that passes for your halo. Really? How bright is it now? You ask, still a bit of a daze. Makes me wish for Dave's sunglasses, Solix grins. I should probably stop that and stop having wings if we're going to be around humans again. You sigh, and with a little focus, you fold your wings back away into that impossible place that they come from. That extra dimension where your real form resides. Right, I was taking you somewhere with Jade or something. After that, I'd probably take you anywhere, Solix says, his grin hazy with delight. You're tempted to ask for something outrageous just because you can, but no, you won't. Yeah, we wanted to find Jake Harley's kids. The man seems sketchy as all hell, and Jade wants to know more. I think she's a little nervous because of the changeling thing, though. You admit and pull your shirt back on again. Yeesh, that makes sense. I'll take you both, and hey, if this whole thing goes bad, there's always arson, Solix says cheerily. Yeah, maybe don't make that comment around anyone else. Apparently Jake's wife died in a fire, you tell him. Solix winces. You're glad that he just said that to you and not anyone else. Anyone who might not appreciate Solix's brand of helping with complex feelings as much as you do. He walks you back to Jade's house. When you get inside, you find that Jade is cooking a hunk of meat for Beck in some glowing box that you can only assume is magical. When she takes it out, the meat is glowing green. She flings it across the room to Beck, who all but eats it in one bite. Solix, it'll take us. Do you have an address from the letter? You ask her. Way ahead of you. Jade nods and holds the letter up. Great, I guess we're ready when he is, you sigh loudly, because Solix is fawning over Beck, petting his long white fur and praising him. It really shouldn't be as endearing as it is. Anytime, Solix, you call out after a few minutes. Yeah, let me see the address, he says and holds out his hand. Jade obligingly hands the envelope over. Solix frowns and takes his phone out, tapping the information in. I've never seen you look up where you're going before you teleport, Jade says in surprise. I've always known where I was going when you've seen me do it. I've never been to this place, Solix says absently as he peers at the screen. When Solix is confident about where you're going, he gets the three of you close together and teleports you. It's a good deal colder in Home Switch, and you immediately wish you thought to wear something warmer. Thankfully, you still have your hoodie stuffed in your bag, so you're able to keep the most of the chill out easily. Solix has set you down in what you suppose is the center of Home Switch. There's a little suburban plaza with small shops and a large grocery store, some small restaurants, a pizza delivery place, and several boutiques. In the distance, there's a slightly green water fountain that's not running at the moment. Past the plaza, you can see winding rows and large homes. It's clearly a wealthy area, but not exactly a vibrant one anymore. Bare skeletons of trees give the place a lifeless feel that the festive lights strung through them can't entirely negate. It's daytime here, and so the bulbs and all the string lights are off. In the distance, you can see a few people shopping, some movement inside the coffee shops, but it's hardly busy. I am going to stay here, Solix says slowly. Why? Jade asks in surprise. You're talking to family that you've not spoken to before. It might not go well. You probably don't want to show up with a demon and put them off right away, do you? Solix points out. If they have a problem with demons, you start to say, already getting angry. Oh, please, I don't need you defending my honor. There's stuff to do around here, and I don't massively want to do small talk with people I don't know, Solix scoffs. Yeah, for sure. I bet you're incredibly excited to look inside. You squint at an establishment that's one down from the secondhand bookstore you're in front of. Practical Jester. Costumes and crafts. Thrilling, I'm sure. You got me, Solix says flatly. It's okay, Carcat. Solix can be antisocial if he wants to be, and we can just call him when we're done. Jade says. Thank you, Jade, Solix says, oh so polite to her, while he gives you a smug little grin. Sure, Google says the address is that way, you say and point behind you. Solix wiggles his fingers at you in a little wave and then goes back to holding his arms around himself to keep the chill away. You know he doesn't like the cold. You and Jade turn and head off, but you're not 5 paces away when you look back and see that he's gone. It's a really big assumption that Jake's kids would still be living inside the same house that they were all the way back in the 80s. For all you know, they moved out, and you'll be at a dead end. You're contemplating how you might track Joey and Jude Harley down if that's the case. Meanwhile, Jade is walking at your side in heavy silence. No doubt she's thinking about what she might say or how they might react to seeing her. The end result is that the fair walk from Haunswich Center over the rolling hills of stately homes is a quiet one. Your new phone tells you that you're approaching the house. You think you're in luck when you spot the hand-painted sign on the gray stone wall outside that reads Half Harley Manor. Half Harley? Jade wonders. Maybe it means it belonged half to Jake and half to his wife? You guess. The house itself is large, with a sizable yard that wraps the whole way around the manor. In an especially sturdy tree, there's a weathered treehouse that looks like it saw a lot of love once. There's lights on within the manor itself, and the outside building has little twinkling lights all set up around. There's someone home. We're not going to get any answers out here, you state. Yeah, I know, Jade says softly. Jade unlatches the front gate and lets herself in. You latch it again after you, and the pair of you walk down the winding stone path to the front entrance with its grand double doors and an old brown wood. Jade reaches for it and pulls her hand back. Go on, you nudge her. Could you? Jade asks, her voice small. Jade, if these people don't accept you, then you start. No, the knocker. It's pure iron. It'll burn me. Most metal is coated or cut with other metals, so I'm usually fine, but that's a solid iron door, and it seems magical too, Jade explains. Oh, of course. Shit, sorry. You apologize in a rush. You reach up to the iron door knocker and knock twice, loudly. You step back behind Jade a little and wait. Coming, a muffled male voice seeps through the door to both of you. A few seconds after that, you hear the door unlock with several loud thunks. It swings open, revealing a man. He's about an average height, a little gawky looking, with square, thick glasses. He has a crisp black and teal shirt with suspenders on, and a festive bow tie around his neck. He gives off the aura of a man who can tell you everything about every element in the periodic table, at least 20 dishes of pie, and probably spent a lot of his formative years being stuffed inside his own locker. There's also more than a passing resemblance to the taxidermied man in Jade's house. Hi, can I help you? The man asks as he looks at both of you. Are you Jude Harley? Jade asks warily. I am. Who are you? He asks suspiciously. I'm Jade. Jade Harley, she says after a moment. Chapter end. That's the end of the chapter, baby. Oh, bam. Oh, bam. No cliffhanger. Thankfully, not to wait the weekend. But yeah, chapter end. Little cliffhanger. Fun time. I just want to see what word count. Oh, it's still another shorter chapter tomorrow. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. Oh, is this the creation of the Discord server? Oh my goodness. A relic. But yeah, chapter end. That was a great chapter. We got some Jade stuff. We got some flying. Oh my god, a little scene. Okay. It's not maybe like it's funny because it's not like a wild line, but the line this line for some reason has stuck itself in my brain for like ever. I read that line when I was reading Alternate Universe, and it's like a permanent addition into my brain. I don't know why. If you were a bowl of red tinted water, then soul looks as a drop of yellow. This whole little bit. I remember you sending it to me. Yeah. It's so good. Oh my goodness. I don't know why it's so permanent in my brain. I'd probably take you anywhere is such a good line too. Yeah, they're so cute. They're both down so horrendous. You have context now? Yes, you do. I didn't remember how intense that was. I didn't either until we got to like after they flew together. They're literally so cute. They are the death of me. Oh my god. I love them so much. The shorter chapters make me sad because I love the long ones, but yeah, we needed a break. Yeah, we had like back-to-back like 20k word chapters. So it's kind of nice getting these shorter chapters now for a little bit. But I'm sure we'll have those longer ones too. They're so in love, I hate them so much. It's so true. I literally love them. This makes me want to read Homestuck, but I'm also scared to read it. It's funny because Homestuck is nothing like this. Lunar, this Homestuck in of itself is nothing like Alternate Universe, I will tell you. It's literally just the characters and the names, and even then, the characterization is sometimes a little different. So, if anything, you should just read more Homestuck fanfiction. Homestuck is so different. Yeah. It's so vastly different. Which Homestuck was like this? Homestuck is not a romance, that's for sure. Yeah, it's not. Like, how often do we see... You know, hey, so fun fact for people who have read... who haven't read Homestuck. In Homestuck, Dave and Solux never once canonically interact in the entirety of the 8,000 page web series. They never once have a canonical interaction at any point. It's so funny. Though the reason, I actually don't know why people connect them so hard, but where's the, does anybody know the one I'm talking about, where it's like the one Tumblr post? Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, the same lines in the in their introduction. Hold on, I'm trying to see if I can find the post. Does anybody have the Tumblr post that I'm talking about? It's not just in their intros. Oh my goodness, how am I gonna be able to find this? Oh yeah, wait, I think I found it. I it. Oh yes, okay, this is the image that I'm thinking about. This is the image. Okay, so these are from the introductions. So there's this really like look at these introductions, right? Compare these introductions to each other. Like hello. This is Solux's introduction page, and this is Dave's. It's obviously cut off, but like and they never canonically interact. Why is this here? Huh? Explain, hussy? You want to talk about it? Maybe talk about it for a second. Let them talk to each other. Like, I feel like they're supposed to be like, I don't know, are they foils? Are they parallels? Are they like, what's going on here? Huh? Okay. Or is it just our job to place them in the same room together? Like, is that what we're supposed to do? Hello? Which is what we're doing, you know? It's so funny. It's so funny how they never canonically interact, and yet, like, Unda has written, like, over, like, 3 million words of these two guys talking to each other and being in like very deep relationships with each other, and they've never canonically interacted in canon. Oh my god. And you know what? And they're based for that. Let us have this. So true. Fucking vouch. But yeah, it's crazy. I'm so glad Unda made them kiss and stuff. Yeah, I'll just keep this on the page. But yeah, it is crazy. I can't believe this. Ken and Soulcat could have had it all. Yeah. I just think that Dave and Solux could have had a conversation or two. See, the thing is that I'm not... Okay, I'm like a multi-shipper. You can convince me of pretty much any ship. Any ship that's like, you know, above board, I will be convinced by. So I'm a bit of a multi-shipper, right? You talk to me about our soul, and I'm like, fuck yes. You talk to me about Soulcat, I'm like, fuck yes. You talk to me about Dave's soul. You can ship like soul theft. I like that. I even like Aerosol. Aerosol is cool in some contexts. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I'll take Aerosol. Like, I'll literally take anything. This man has multiple hands, and each person can hold on to a finger. Like, it's just more... It's fucking great. It's funny you say that, Octopus. The only ship that I'm not actually a huge fan of is Pepsi Cola. But that's mostly because I'm not a huge fan of human x human relationships in Homestuck, because I just think that troll dynamics add so much flair and funness to them with quadrants. Though Dave Jade is an exception. I love Dave Jade. Dave Jade's a great ship. Specifically, I like Jade Dave Cat a lot. I love Dave Jade Cat. Not the shitty stuff in the epilogue, but actual Dave Jade Cat. Before Hussey fucked with it. YWDMP ironically sold me on Dave Jade. Yeah. Aware epilogues. Yeah, nobody talks about epilogues. Epilogues aren't real. Epilogues are not real. Pepsi Cola is kind of boring to me, to be honest. Yeah, I agree. See, the thing is, here's my thoughts on Pepsi Cola. My thoughts on Pepsi Cola is I like the idea because I think that John is straight. Either John Egbert is straight or June Egbert is a lesbian. That's my brain. John has never canonically, from my recollection, ever had any interest in men. Unless, okay, Dirk John, I will take Dirk John. I think Dirk John is funny. I think Dirk John is amusing. So like Dirk John is my exception. But if we're just looking at John as a character or June as a character, I think that she's either gay or John is straight. And I like John being this character to Dave, or like them having their kind of close relationship. But like John to me represents like when you're a kid and you realize you have like maybe a crush on your straight best friend, and you're like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like that's how their dynamic is to me. And then realizing like that can never happen, right? Because and like having to kind of go through that heartbreak a little bit, because I just don't think that John is gay. Pepsi Cola being one-sided with Dave is so fucking funny with June, though. Like, the idea of Dave thinking he's bi and then breathing a sigh of relief over his crush and being just trans femme, and then getting another crush. Yes, I love that dynamic. I love that so much. I love that so much. It's so funny to me. Of Dave being like, thank God. Okay. It was just... She was just an egg the whole time. It was because she's trans femme. We're so good. I am 100% straight still. We are all solid. And then Dave meets Carcat and he's like, fuck, shit, God, fuck. Oh no. Oh fuck. I need your Soul Carezi thoughts, please. I don't mind. Honestly, Terezi isn't a character that's like, I don't think about Terezi a lot. Obviously, there's just some trolls that I like more than others, and Terezi isn't bad. I just don't have a lot of thoughts about her. So she's cool. But I don't really think about a ton of ships and stuff with her. So I think Carezi is like a really old school Homestuck ship. And Karezi's kind of cool. Terezi's a lesbian to me. I like Terezi with Friska a lot. Like I really like is it Vrisrezi? Vrisrezi, I would assume is the term for them. I think Vrisrezi is really good. I like Terezi. I really like when people throw June in between Vriska and Terezi. And like kind of just it's like chucking a fucking a chicken into a lion's den. Like I love that dynamic. I ship Crazy, but specifically in the sense that they are exes that are still friends and she bullies him. Yes. I've talked about my pitch versus Rezi with Ash June before. Yeah. Yeah. There's a song that I have like very vivid verse Rezi thoughts about. You know the song where is it? The song from Road to El Dorado called It's Tough to Be a God. It's tough to be a god. Like that song is so verse Rezi to me. That's like peak Friss Rezi to me. I love that song. There's a version of who sings it? There's a cover of it that I really like. That's sung by Anna Pantsu and Elsie Lovelock. And whenever I listen to it, it's like so very vivid, like Vriska and Terezi singing it. I literally love them so much. I think like the thing is that Karezi to me is like, and it's kind of the same thing that I like Jade Cat. Jade Cat and Karezi kind of fit a same like area to me of like they had a complicated relationship and they dated for a while, but then they ended up realizing that they wanted to they ended up having other people that they wanted to date, but they're still like kind of really not like intimate with each other, but like best friends, and they've both seen each other and they've had intimate relationships with each other, and it's not like awkward to them, and they kind of maybe act like they never broke up, but also like not in a disrespectful way, but in a way of like they don't care. And also they tease each other about each other all the time, and it's funny. Like that's how I kind of imagine them. So Jade Cat are friends who kissed and they talk about their relationships together. Yeah. I think that I'm trying to think of what Jade relationship I like best. What Jade ship do I think? I really like Jade and Aradia a lot, and that's partially because of YWDMP. I like Jade Nep. Yeah. Jade Rose is pretty good, but I like Ara Jade a lot. I like Ara Jade and then Dave Cat, and I think that they talk about each other. But the thing is that you can convince me pretty much of any ship with like a troll and a human. I will like look at that and I'll have to think about it for a little bit, and then I'll probably agree with you in the end. You just convinced me. Rose having her first crush on Jade is so good to me. Yes. Hey, you got me shipping Pale Rose Cat too. So hard. Yes. I love Pale Rose Cat. I love Pale Rose Cat. I think there's been a debate kind of around Twitter, and there's always a debate of like shipping Rose with men. And like it's like, okay, you know, she's a lesbian in canon, how, you know, questionable is that and stuff. I personally, if it's like I typically ship Rose with usually only women, but Pale Rose Cat is like my only exception because I just think it's cute. I think it's so cute. I just love them. I'm sorry, I'm allowed to, okay, like leave me alone. Pale Rose Cat happens in AU. It's kind of, I don't want to say too much, but like already now it's kind of implied a little bit. I mean, we probably shouldn't be talking about this actually. Whoops. But oh, Pale Rose Cat is in the tags. Okay, you know, if it's in the tags, then I don't mind at least mentioning it. Yeah, Octopus. The thing is that like if you're shipping Rose Pale with like a male character like Pale Rose Cat, as long as it is paired with Rosemary, I'm usually fine with it. As long as Rose is still also with Kanaya or just also with like a woman, right? I'm usually like, you know, I don't mind. Like I like Rose pitch with Vriska, flush with Kanaya, and then Pale with Carcat. I like that a lot. Though I also like Pale Cat Can or Can Cat. Kanaya and Carcat. I like Pale Kanaya and Carcat a lot too. So but they can all hold hands. Everybody can hang out together. Pale Carcat and Kanaya is so good. It really is. I love them so much. They do it in MC Escher, right? They also do it in, this is a different writer, but I really liked the Pale Carcat and Kanaya in Suit and Kill the Ones We Love. Pitch Rose Resi, give it to me. Yes, that's a good one. Rose flush or pitch with a man is, yeah, that's where I kind of like, I'm like, I don't know if I feel how I feel about that. If it was like, if Rose was a troll, I would still maybe feel weird about Rose being pale with a guy, because because troll society is more romantic, like, or they consider it romantic, but humans have pale relationships with like everybody. Like, that's kind of the point of that, they're always pale with like pretty much everybody, because humans don't have that like distinction. So the idea of Rose being very close friends or like best friends with a guy isn't unquestionable, you know, like it's like whatever. So like the idea that Rose is pale with someone like Karkat is fine to me, you know. So that's the only thing about that one, the Solux and Rose fic that I read, or that I was talking about earlier, is that it's kind of Rose and Solux flush, but I think it was also written before Rosemary was confirmed. Like, it's an old fic, so it's fine. I don't mind it. And it's also such a minor, the Solux and Rose implication of them being flushed at the end or whatever is so minor that it doesn't really matter. I just like the interactions between them a lot. Arati should have gotten to be friends with more people in general. Yeah, I agree. The girls pass Karkat's friendship around like a blunt. Dream blunt rotation. But Karkat's the blunt. That's great. That's great. Oh my goodness, it is 10:30. I should probably end stream very soon. But today was fun. We had a very fun stream, good chapter, solid chat. I could talk about Homestuck shipping every day, all the time. I'm over here smiling and nodding, pretending I understand these words. Yeah. It's so funny too. Here's the thing. Here's something that I like about Homestuck, because it's an older fandom. There's no stupid ship names. Not that, okay, I think modern fandoms, sometimes modern fandoms are like we name all the ships after like cute things, but like just mashing the names together is so much easier to understand. It's so much easier to understand. It's like, okay, we're talking about like Dave Soul. I know exactly who those two are. It is Dave and Solux. That's it. That's all I need to know. You know, Dave and Solux is also called Applebee's, I've seen, and that's cute, but that's not their primary ship name, and I don't have to explain the joke of like, oh, well, Dave's apples and then Solux is bees. It's like, no. It's Dave Soul. It's Dave Soul. Okay, it's classic. It works. You know, that's fine to me, right? Like, you know, it's fine. Dave Soul, my heart is McDonald's. Rosemary is the only ship I need as a universal constant. Yeah, I agree. It helps that the names are easily cut in half. That's also true. That's also very true. But like nowadays with modern fandoms, it's like I'm just thinking of even like duo names, right? Because I came from Minecraft YouTube and they don't really do as much shipping over there. But it's like TNT duo, Sand duo, Emerald duo, fucking Bee duo. And it's like, you expect me to keep track of all of this? You expect me to keep track of everything here? I can't. I cannot keep track. And so it's the same thing with ship names. When you give like creative ship names, I can't keep track of everything. I cannot keep track. Just, I know the thing. Now, to be fair, I understand it in Minecraft YouTube because you don't want to call it a ship, so you shouldn't mash names together, because there's a very different, you know, when people say desert duo versus saying Scarian, it's like, you know, the difference. I still don't like it. Let's just mash the names together, okay? We can talk about them being, well, I don't know. Maybe people should just get over it. Maybe we should just start calling desert duo Scarian, because that's what it is. No, it's not, but... The worst I've seen is Persona with the pro tag. Yeah, there's some the thing, I feel like I've shown this on stream before. It's a big thing in the in the Pokemon fandom. The Pokemon fandom has it rough. This is the Pokemon fandom. These are the names of these ships. What the fuck does this mean? Like... Pokemon has it bad. And I feel like this is like the worst example. What does this mean? What does this mean, right? Head in hands, my friend made me guess these ones. So yeah, like blonde leader shipping. Now, the thing is, okay, to be fair, this is because what it is at least my assumption, right? You can correct me if I'm wrong. But what I'm assuming is this is like translation from Japanese to English, right? So shipping is probably one kanji, and then it's like, you know, burning leaf. That's like two other kanji, right? So burning leaf shipping, right? And then you translate that. So that's like 3 characters in Japanese, and then you translate to English, and it's fucking nightmare. It still is a nightmare transferring this over. This still looks awful. Where it's just like, what the fuck is going on? So it just doesn't work in English. So it's very funny. I like the mashing of the names. Now I think like I really think that like Crab Applebee's, which is Dave Soulcat, like their little cute creative name, or at least the name in my head for them, is very cute. I think that's cute. I think it's cute. But DSK, Dave Soulcat. That's what I call it. That's what I call it, and that works. I remember reading my first Dave Cat fic on accident and seeing the words Moirail and Kismesis, and I became a physical question mark because I hadn't consumed any Homestuck content. I like the cutesy names, they're just not functional. Yeah, I think, like, if you use the cutesy names, like, as a side, like, as a secondary thing to the mash names, then that's fine, right? But when you're using that as the primary ship name, it starts to become very confusing, especially when you have, if it was like that for Homestuck, you're gonna have hundreds of these characters, or hundreds of like ships, and they're all gonna be named something bullshit and different that's like a haha cute little reference. But my god, Rosemary is also like bordering clever and like kind of a reference, and then also a name mash because it's based on Kanaya's last name, Miriam. So it's Rosemary, but Rosemary is cute, and Rosemary is close enough that I will accept it. Rose Marley is also cute. I hadn't heard that before. I'm glad that Unda made quadrants easy to understand. Yeah, I think so. I think Unda does a pretty good job of explaining quadrants. Though Alternate Universe, I think, is the only fic where they actually explain quadrants to the audience or the reader, because Karkat's confused on them. Because if you go to MC Escher, you go to either MC Escher, Dave's Broken Diamond Club, especially Dave's Broken Diamond Club, or YWDMP, they don't super explain quadrants. Maybe YWDMP kind of helps. You know who didn't explain quadrants? Sulks. Yeah. But like in Dave's Broken Diamond Club, they don't explain quadrants at all, because it's fucking troll culture. Everybody just, quadrants is just built into their system. So it's like, why would they ever explain quadrants? So right off the bat, I mean, in the very first part of DBDC, like, Karkat's like, please don't tell me you already got a pale crush on Dave after meeting him for the first time. And so Lux is like, well, but like, does he have a Moirail? But like, does he have a Moirail? Sweats. I love the beginning of DVDC. It's so cute. Is he single though? And Karkat's like, alright, time fucking membership to the goddamn club. The Dave's Broken Diamond Club. Haha, title, credit roll, let's go. Let's go, bada bing. It is also funny because the title Dave's Broken Diamond Club doesn't become, like, ends up not, it's not that it's not relevant, but it's like relevant for the first, like, 3 chapters, maybe. And then it's though I guess considering what happens with Dave and happens to Solux and happens to Carcat, maybe Dave's Broken Diamond Club is fitting, but it does transcend the original premise. Yeah, that's for sure. It's also a long as fuck name, but I'm glad it just shortens down to DBDC. To be fair, oh, I can't talk about this. Alternate Universe is clever, though, for its own reasons that we will discuss at the very, very end. Because Alternate Universe is a clever title, if you think about it, right? And I won't talk about it in detail, but it's kind of deceptive, yeah. But we'll talk about it at the end. Yeah, anyway, I did say that I was going to get off like 10 minutes ago and then I didn't get off. Auspicism, I love that so much. Did they ever come up with a symbol for auspicism? I guess there's one in the Discord, but there's no typed... You can't do a type symbol, can you? Or at least they never made one in DBDC. Because I think they talk about it, but they never ended up making one. Who here has already read Alternate Universe? Raise your hand, y'all. Raise your hand if you've read Alternate Universe. Actually, how about we do this? Press 1 if you've read Alternate Universe. Press 2 if you have not. Press 1 if this is your first experience. Press 2... Wait, no. Press 1 if this is not your... Wait, I forgot what I said. Press 1 if you've read it already. Press 2 if you haven't. Yeah, press 1 if you've read it already. Press 2 if you haven't. We have mostly people who have read it, but we have a couple people who haven't. Yeah, 1 reread, 2 new experience. You guys. But yeah, so we got a mix. I don't know, I just can't get into it like I did YWPA. You can always listen to the streams and, you know, have it as background noise. Because, I mean, that honestly, part of... I don't like listening to my own voice, but there have been times where I've been drawing and I'm like, man, I wish I could just consume Undefix again and just, like, listen to it. I, for a while, tried putting DBDC through a voice... No, MC Escher. It was MC Escher. I tried putting MC Escher through a text-to-chat or a text-to-voice program to try to listen to it while I was doing dishes, and it was very bad. The AI, not the AI, but the little robot voice thing was kind of shitty. These streams are the only thing keeping me doing my math homework. Nice. Love that. Oh god, those things would suffer with typing quirks. So yeah, thankfully I wasn't. Thankfully, MC Escher is clear of typing quirks for quite a bit of time. YWT starts off with high stakes, but in AU it takes a bit more time to build up to the high stakes. Yes, I absolutely think so. AU takes a little bit to kind of start getting into it, but I don't know. I like AU's beginning. I think MC Escher has my favorite start of any of Unda's Fix. If I had to rate Unda's Fix overall, okay, I'm just gonna write them out. Maybe MC Escher. I'm gonna make a distinction. Pre-Spurb. MC. I think it's important. I think this is very important. To make the distinction, and I'll explain why. AU and then DBDC. Now, all of Unda's Fix are great, so it's hard ranking them because obviously one always has to go at the bottom. This is how it is for me. So from top to bottom, top being the best, bottom being the worst. So best, worst. No, least best. That's better. Okay. I think that's my list. I would have to think about it. These two kind of compete of which one I like more. But I think this is my list. These two also compete sometimes. I think AU stays on top though. But I have such a love for pre-Spurb MC Escher. I have such a love for it. I just can't get into, or I just don't enjoy the later part of MC Escher as much. More so because I didn't really care for the switch to the alpha POV, or to the alpha timeline POV. I didn't care for that switch. But it was still good. Like, it was still well written. I think it's like almost a better interpretation of Homestuck story. In some ways. I would also agree that post-Spurb MC is worse, but I also love the ending. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Overall, it's a good experience, and I think, like, this balances it out so that I think overall... it's hard because it's like you're also taking into account side fix. Like, there's so much. Overall, I would either put MCE here, like between AU and DBDC, or above. I don't know. It's competing whether it's above or below AU. I'm not sure. It's one of those. But MC as a whole equals out somewhere in the middle, is what I'm saying. DBDC, like, thinking about just the fix in their entirety, there are a lot of parts that DBDC, I think, slows down or has kind of funky pacing just because it's so long. Overall, great story. I still love DBDC a ton. But also, like, I really like pitch relationships. I value pitch relationships a lot. And DBDC doesn't really have a ton of pitch stuff. AU has quite a bit. YWDMP has a lot. And then MC Escher pre-Spurb, I just really like the story. I like the development that we have with, like, Dave and Carcat. I love their slow burn. Not even slow burn, but, like, their burn and their build. That I don't really need pitch for that. I just think it's good. The way YWTMP does pitch Soul Dave makes me insane. Absolutely. The pitch Soul Dave is so good. It's so fucking good. A lot of love for Sea Dweller Carcat is derived from how much I want him. Where's my designs? Let me find them. Where are they? There's my babies. There he is, my favorite lad. Oh, my little guy. I want him so bad. Can he, can he just a little bit? Like, can he give me a kiss? Can he give me a little kiss? Please? Also, for people who haven't seen this, this is my interpretation of alternate universes. Lads of them. This is how I imagine them in my brain. So, and then this is MC Escher, which is a different fic. Dave's Work and Diamond Club. This is pre and post time skip. And then here's yours for my planet. They're all guys. They're all guys. They got so much going on. Oh, I love this Soluk so much still. He has a little ponytail. YWDMP Dave does something to me. There's my genders. There's all of them. There is all of them. I had these, like, early drawings of YWDMP Dave. Let me find. Is this... There's more than this. But this is, like, when I was first designing him. Because I was like... Oops. Fuck. Oh my god. I was messing around with his, like, design. I wonder if I can find... I know I had another sketch. I'm gonna have to find it. But I just really like drawing YWDMP Dave. And I was still, like, unsure what, like, skin tone and stuff to give him. Do I have the other? Oh yeah, here's more stuff that I did with him. Here's another one. Yeah, because there's one scene where he's stretching, he's doing yoga. And I was like, the lad. There he is. He's a little stretching guy. But yeah, I did like all these little drawings. This was during for people who have read oh my god. Oh fuck. I'm scrolling through shit now. Oh god. Nope. Oh god, where'd it go? Dude. This was after I read the chapter with if you've read YWP, this is after, is it Vicaire? Yeah, this is after Vicaire. After that happens. I just finished reading the chapter and this is what I was thinking about. So ooh, aware. Aware. Do I have any other doodles that I can show? I have all these like cute all these like Procreate doodles. This is Dave Cat, more Dave Cat, Dave Soul. I wish I had, I have a bunch of them on my Tumblr. Let me find them. Is YWDMP friendly to non-Homestuck people? Yeah, the only thing you need to probably know for YWDMP is you just need to know about quadrants. That's like the one thing that they do that they don't really explain to you. So as long as you know quadrants, you'll be fine. Which you kind of do now because you have had to read this. You know what I mean? So YWDMP is pretty safe, and it's also really good. Now, to be fair, I will, warning ahead of time. YWDMP is A, not complete yet, and B, kind of not getting updated super frequently right now because Unda's been doing other stuff. So just like keep that in mind. I still recommend it because I think it's great. But just as like a note, Okay, here's more lovely. This is from my Tumblr. More Dave Cat and oh my god, they're kissing! Oh my god, they're kissing! Oh my god, look at all of them! Oh my god, I drew so many of them. I drew these while I was on a trip. I was away. Because I'm so sick. I love them so much. Oh my god, they're kissing! I hope they explode. I hope they explode. Oh my god. It's so funny because after, like, when I started, I haven't drawn a lot of shipping art, like, ever. That was never something I was super interested in. Immediately after reading Unda's Fix and me, like, getting into Dave Soulcat, I just started drawing so much shipping art. I was like, fuck, I need them to smooch right now. I like this one too. Let me see. Load. Oh, look at how cute they are. Oh my god, look at how cute they are. Oh my god. I love them so much. I'm gonna explode. My little brain could explode. Oh. And I think I showed these earlier. Yeah, I showed these earlier. Oh, look at them. I'm just showing all my shipping art. And then these I did a while ago too. Oh, I want this as a charm. I want all these as charms actually. I want this one as a little long charm so bad. It's so cute. I love them. I love them so much. They're so baby. They are so baby. They're everything to me. They're my little guys. But yeah, I think they're so important, actually. So yeah, okay, that was me showing off all my fucking Dave Cat art and then some. Do I have any more that I haven't posted anywhere? Oops. Where's my folder? I have some others, but all these others have been posted on places. Oh, I do have this. I designed these for a friend. This isn't Dave Soul Cat, but this is Dave Jade Cat. That I did. I have charm designs that I'm doing for a friend. And these are super, super cute. And then they're two-sided, so the formal versus the god tier. So it's gonna be double-sided. They're so, so adorable. I love them so much. So they're so loud. They're so loud. I want to do the same. I want to make a similar design for Dave Soulcat for myself, because I'm making a bunch of charms that I can buy in bulk for me and some friends that I'm gonna use for myself, and I'm gonna cherish them deeply. So because designing charms like costs money, a lot of money, especially if you're just buying a couple, like you're not buying them in bulk. They can get really expensive. So I'm designing as many as possible so I can buy it in as much bulk as I can, and that'll make it easier. Excuse me. Okay, I think that's all. Okay, I'm actually gonna go now. I've said this for the third time, but third time's a charm. All right, I hope you all have a lovely, lovely night. We've been streaming for 2 hours, and yeah. We will be streaming again tomorrow, 9 p.m. EST. Bobbing, bada boom. God, if you opened a merch store, I would eat. I would straight up eat. I don't know what that means. I would love to sell merch. In the situation I'm in right now, I can't. But in the future, if I made an Etsy store, I would be so down. I would be so down. I would love to sell charms. I would love to sell charms. But yeah, hope you all have a lovely, lovely night. Lovely, lovely, lovely night. Talk to y'all tomorrow, 9 p.m. EST, as always, here. Bada bing, bada boom. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye.